Okayest Hunter podcast. Never pass on shooter bucks, because that's just meat in the freezer. It's your tag, you hunt how you want. This is Okayest Hunter.
What is up, everybody?
Better late than never.
Welcome to the Okayest Hunter podcast. And let me tell you, every time we do a technology upgrade, it is full Okayest Hunter hour in this freaking studio, man. My gosh.
You've got like a jungle gym set up here. I like it.
What a nightmare, man.
You missed it. When I first walked in, you could have hung yourself on a couple of cords.
It's like entrapment with Catherine Zeta.
Yeah. I don't even know where this is at. Should be. Anyway, we're dealing with some new stuff here. We're trying to figure some stuff out. You go ahead and click that right there, Greg.
You want to click on that?
Yeah, make it large.
Large and in charge.
There it is.
Wait,
okay.
Look at that.
So, here we go. Look at that.
We get a good view of you.
I think we got a good view of you guys, too.
Half of you.
My head's in the way.
Atta girl.
Woo! All right, so we're coming at you from the Okayest Hunter podcast
Hey-o.
studio, and I am trying to figure out how to. These new cameras are great, but I had to feed stuff through a different software platform, and it created some audio infinite echo looping.
Is that what it was? The new
It wasn't.
software?
It wasn't the cameras. I had to.
I don't
touch
want to
it.
know.
Whatever you do, don't touch
I don't
it.
want to know.
Don't breathe, but I don't have to worry about well, kind of. I still have to worry about this, but
I'm over here today. Beer's right there.
I just missed my mouth. Just spilled beer down my face.
Here we go.
I knew this was going to happen. This is how it goes. Greg, you've been with me for a couple of upgrades now.
Yeah, I have.
So inevitably,
Short of you cutting your fingers off with an electrician screwdriver and I don't know what else. I mean,
the buck hasn't fallen off the wall
yeah,
yet. So.
no, he's staying there.
Holy crap.
Notice I'm wearing the white jacket tonight.
Here you go.
Yeah.
So I can make this so it auto does it, but I'm not sure if I trust that just yet.
With the cameras.
But I don't know if the middle one will know who to pick up, so I'm not sure what to do.
Where they play ping pong?
Right. So I'm just going to keep tapping different things here. See what happens. Anywho, we have sponsors, and I
don't know how.
I'm
but
embarrassed
we
for
do.
them right now.
Yeah.
Sorry, Bill with Spartan Forge. Sorry, Zach and Kyle with Backwoods, and sorry, Dave with Drop Tine. And Latitude Outdoors. Sorry, guys. We've just shit the bed. No, but we do make use of all that stuff. Spartan Forge is a presenting sponsor, and as a technologist and a technology company, they can attest that things can happen. And when you push the limits of what technology can do, shit can break, or people complain or piss and moan. I saw a forum on the internet. I'm not going to say which one, but it was going to town on Spartan Forge about the ethics of using too much technology in hunting.
Oh.
And I sent it to Bill, and I was like, "Hey, you should probably look at this." And yeah, a lot of people were defending it, and some people were saying, what point is too much? And then it harkens back, well, what about trail cams? What about bows? And where do you draw these lines?
That's a tough
Right.
argument, because you can go so many different directions, like you said, with bows and whatnot.
Well, yeah, and look at the graduation of firearms. Guys were shooting flintlocks, and then they went to maybe an inline or cartridge type firearms, and then the purists were like, "Oh, cartridge type, huh? We don't want to hang out with those guys. They're not that cool."
Right.
Just muzzle loaders alone nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean,
Everything.
one shot, but they're pretty darn accurate.
Yeah.
Well, anywho, so
You
I'm
look
a
like
little.
your kid over there.
I got.
You
Well,
got stuff
probably
dribbling
from
down
them.
your chest.
I'm just a little distracted. You guys have to carry the weight
You're
of the
loud,
show tonight.
You're
while
waving
I'm-
your arms around. I'm surprised you're not trying to fall off the table right now.
This is a lot to organize.
It
I give
is.
you credit.
the first time, so I'll get comfortable and we'll figure it all out here. But man, that audio thing had me just thrown through a freaking literal loop.
That thing would echo 3 times.
No, the first time it happened, I was like, wait, what's happening? Wait, what's happening? Wait, what's happening?
It was
Wait,
like
what's...
a nice 6-second lag too. It was like plenty of time.
No,
Oh, it's not
you
going to
missed
echo.
it
It's
before
not-
that. It was like
worse?
every 3 seconds, and it
It
would
was like
just
someone
keep
was
saying it.
DJing me, like, let's put Eric on loop and make a rap, you know?
So that's what this is. Okay.
Yeah, geez. So, yeah, anyway, so if you want to go with Spartan Forage and you're not worried about the ethics of it and you want to just improve your hunt and your predictability of like when you're going to see deer, and they are adding a where feature in 2022. So not only when you're going to see the deer, but potentially like where you might see the deer. So I think that's going to be pretty awesome for those guys.
I'm gonna be quite honest. I don't use every little feature of that, but I do like having the weather right at my fingertips and knowing what the wind's doing right then and there. And yeah, there's other apps that are following suit, but there are things on that app I really enjoy. And I don't, like I said, I don't use it to its full extent.
Something I got to get better at is the journaling stuff. I used to do that many years ago, and I just saw somebody make a post about the journaling stuff on Spartan Forge and how nice it is, and I kind of made a mental note that I got to start doing that again.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, if you want to save 25% off, use code OHP. So I apologize, everybody, for the choppy start, but we're getting it figured out here.
We're rolling.
You zoom in on both you guys. How about that? I don't gotta like worry about which one of you guys is talking. Anywho, you guys both shot bucks. The only deer I could have shot this whole season, well, 2 deer I had a chance at shooting. But this past weekend we went up for the Doug Duran doe derby. We hunted with our buddy. What county were we in? Sauk County.
We're in Sauk. Yep.
Okay.
Sauk County has more does than Heinz has got pickles, and that's a lot.
So we hunted with Mitch Baker, and Mitch and I hunted together, which was great. He's a super cool dude, good hunter. And he's like, well, I'm going to take a walk. I'll see if I can't kick some GRT guys and stuff. And he eventually did that for both of us.
Mhm.
And the only deer I could have shot was a spike buck, which
Of
I'm
course.
like, you know how happy I would have been to shoot that spike buck? And it was doe only weekend. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. You're the luckiest freaking. Talk about never pass, never pass, never pass. You know how hard it was for me to like not pull the trigger on that
Force
thing?
pass.
Yeah.
That's a force pass.
It's a force
Yeah.
pass.
Force pass. Oh, interesting. That's
Yeah.
a good term.
I had 2 does out about 200 yards through the timber. It was very hard to try and pick a shot with all the stuff that was going on, and they heard that dog bark, and they hightailed it back, and then Mitch put on that little bit of a drive, the first drive, and I had a little spiker come through by me as well. And then Mitch ended up getting one at the beginning of the second little push that he put on, and those things came in right behind him. There were 6 of them that crossed the road and into his property, and he had an opportunity at one of the bigger ones, and he took it.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was a big doe. He's very thankful for that doe.
Mhm.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yep.
My buddy Adam, who you know,
Uh-huh.
we got out last weekend. I'm still looking for one more deer for the freezer. All my plans of $3 and fill the freezer. That's
Yeah.
not working out. So
No.
I was looking for a doe last weekend, and my buddy Adam came up. They were visiting, he and his girlfriend, and they actually took some pictures, some family pictures for us. And so I knew he wanted to get out in the woods. So I dragged him out to a spot, and we just kind of did a little side by side, still hunting. He didn't even have his rifle because he's got 2 does and a buck.
Sure.
But I sent him through a little thick patch of cedars, and he moved deer out. I think I saw 5 fresh sets of tracks, got eyes on 1 deer, heard a couple other, but I didn't have no chance at a shot. But
Yeah.
it was fun to get out. We just went out for like an hour and a half, and
That's
nice
all it
little
takes.
walk. Yep.
That's all it takes.
Yeah, you get the right moment and everything changes.
Yep.
There's some snow up where we were.
Why
And
not?
if I wasn't looking, I wouldn't have heard that deer at all. You know.
I didn't even hear that spiker come running because there was enough padding on the ground
Mhm.
where there was no leaf litter for him to make noise in. So it was a nice clean run for him to go right down that cut. And he was quiet. I just saw motion and movement, and I pulled up and followed him along with the scope. And no matter how many times they looked at his head, those spikes were still there. So he ended up living too.
I had to do one of those. He was like, "Ooh, here comes a doe," and it wasn't a doe.
Damn it.
So anyway,
And Mitch even warned us. He's like, look, we got some small ones running around here. You might want to look before you leap.
verify.
Yep.
And I have been seeing not just Wisconsin here, but all around antlers hitting the ground already.
Yeah.
In different states. So it's always a worry with like the holiday hunt that you're going to shoot a bald buck, you know.
Yep. And that can happen. There was a buck brought into Doug Duran's kiosk. It had lost its antlers, and on top of it, it was suffering the effects of CWD, which is really, really crappy to watch. But that deer had lost its antlers, and from what they said, the bases on that thing were big.
Really?
Yeah. It's a driftless area buck, so nice healthy deer if it didn't have CWD.
So I'm going to switch gears here, and I'm just going to go back for a second because I accidentally clicked something I shouldn't have. Derek, your bow hunting season, you got a buck with your bow.
I did.
I have yet to hear the story. I think we've been kind of waiting for this. I think Greg probably knows what the hell happened, but I don't.
It has
So-
been a little while. Yeah. So, I mean, early season here in Wisconsin, we had all the plans of grandeur and planned this
Oh, yeah.
and go out at that.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of chances at some different bucks, and I chose to pass them, which left me yearning for more venison. But that was at the time. I passed a couple 2.5-year-olds, and I laid eyes on a couple decent bucks here in Wisconsin. And then Greg and I had our Illinois trip. So I went down one weekend, pull some cameras, do some scouting, and I hunted one day, a morning and an evening, and saw a lot of deer and had a couple chances at a couple different bucks. Did not shoot past. One of them I didn't get a shot at, which we later found out was a good thing. CWD area, got to shoot an antlerless first in
Yes.
October, so I wasn't aware of that at the time. So
Mhm.
maybe that was a blessing in disguise.
Very much so.
And then the following weekend, Greg and I went down there. We heard that we struggled to find deer, put on lots of miles,
We
and lots
found-
of hiking.
We found deer. They weren't the deer we were looking for.
Yep.
So, as deer hunters, we succeeded. As trophy deer hunters, not so much.
We had fun though.
We had fun. Yes.
We
I
packed
would totally
a
do
lot
it.
of hunting into a short amount of
We
time.
did. On a lot of hiking.
And a lot of different properties.
Yes.
More properties than you should ever cover in
Oh, man.
three
We're
and a half
looking
days.
at it on the map. Nope, that one looks like it sucks. What about this one? Oh, that one looks pretty big. Oh, I bet there's a lot of people in there. Well, what about this little piece over here? Yeah, let's go check that out.
How far is it? An hour and 10 minutes.
An hour and 10 minutes.
Oh, shit.
Well, it looks like we're getting up just a tad bit earlier. So
But
we
it was
did.
good.
It was good. Yeah. We walked into places we had never hunted, never even set foot on the ground before. So you know what? After going through and doing that, and you found some good stuff, I went and knocked around in another area. We kind of settled on, hey, we should hunt this because you found some great sign. And then the more and more I poked around, I found good sign. So you and I had an area covered. We were probably a couple hundred yards apart. And then we had
That lowland spot?
that lowland spot.
Man, I thought that we were in perfect
It
spots
was.
there.
And
I
then-
was feeling so good
and
about that.
what was like the icing on the cake was the yup, you should be here. Before I even got up a tree, I heard crashing around, and I see this buck, and I didn't get a clear view of him, but he was past the ears, and he was mowing down maple trees chasing a doe. Like, yep, okay. Pulled a grunt call out, tried grunting at him. He kept on going. He had zero shits given about that grunt call. So I got up the tree, and then I get a message from Derek. You see that guy? Guy? Yeah, there's a guy. There's a guy coming through. I think he's heading over by you. No, it's windy. It was real windy. It was like blowing 20 miles an hour. Well, when I was kind of power scouting that area to get ready to figure out where I wanted to set up, I found a ladder stand. Illinois, they allow hunters to leave ladder stands all over public, apparently.
I don't know if they're allowed to,
I don't
but
know
they
if they're
do.
allowed to, but they
Everywhere
do.
we went, they're all over the place.
All over the place. So I'm up the tree, and the wind kind of cut blowing a little bit, and all of a sudden I hear brush crackling. And I'm looking around, and I'm trying to pinpoint where the crackling's coming from, and all of a sudden I see this guy's head poke out of all these raspberry bushes. I'm like, why the yeah? And the raspberry bushes were this freaking tall. What the hell are you doing crawling through raspberry bushes to get in there?
A
Looking
little
for
cut
a
up.
snack, man.
So I just went, and he kind of picked his crossbow up and he looked around, and I kind of, hung off the tree and waved at him. And he's like, oh, shit. I'm like, you going over there? Ladder stand? Oh, all right. Go right on ahead. I'm going to get down. Oh, okay. And so off he went.
Is that how he sounded?
Yeah, well,
See, we thought we were having a tough day because that guy walked by, but here he walked by two guys.
Two guys.
in a matter of about 300
Because
yards.
I think you hollered at him and waved him off.
I saw him, so Greg and I split up. We walked this little creek bottom down, looking for sign, and right kind of where we thought we'd find some, there's some old rubs and a couple fresh ones. And then it was mainly the tracks.
Yeah.
We saw some nice tracks.
Yep.
And we just split up, and I only made about 50 or 60 yards, and I found a huge scrape, big licking branch all busted off, and there was a massive track. So I kind of hightailed back to Greg, and I whistled at him, and I was like, we got to stick around here because something's coming through this bottom.
Yep.
So he went to his side, I went to mine. I set up over that scrape. All these trails are coming off the ridges. I can see them coming through this thick stuff. I set up for 40 minutes. All day sit going to do. It's probably like 9:30 in the morning.
We were ready to go. We were ready to sit all day for this.
And I hear something coming down that nice thick draw, and it's that guy with his crossbow. I'm like, God. No. And he saw me right away because I whistled and I waved, and he kind of just gave me the.
Yeah. So
he started going all the way around. I can see him the whole way, And then all of a sudden I lost sight of him. And then I saw him pop up right by Greg.
The curse of the crossbow.
Yep.
So,
but we were optimistic.
Yeah, we were optimistic. And I mean, the spot I set up on, I felt real good about because Derek came back and said, yeah, I'm going to set up over here. What do you think? I'm like, do it. You found that spot that looks, it's the one of maybe 3 scrapes that are in that area.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a good sized scrape, licking branch and everything. And why not throw a sit at it? What's the worst can happen? You don't see anything by 2:00. You get bored and you go, maybe I need to, maybe I need to wander off, so you do. But he set up in there, and I just I kept walking the creek bottom. I got so far, and I looked up and saw that ladder stand, and then the app wasn't working real well because we were in a cell phone hell there. So I'm like, well, I don't think I'm at the property line, but I don't want to go too much further. So I went back up the creek, found a really heavy trail, and found a big track in the mud where it had crossed and went through the raspberries where that guy popped his head up. I'm like, okay. And I walked around some of the raspberries and I found a tree. The rub was about this tall. All right. Walked a little further. There's oaks there and they look like they're dropping acorns. Of course, everything was dropping acorns down there. There's a lot of food. Found one tree, almost set up in it, and here it had poison ivy growing off of it. Picked another one, and just as I was walking over there, that's when that buck came chasing that doe through. So it was good until that guy showed up. And then I got down and just decided, I just messaged him, yeah, I'm going to move because this guy's here. Well, where are you going to move? I think I'm going to probably head south and maybe a little west. So I did. I just kind of scouted along, found more sign. Pretty much went right to the property edge, right to the edge of that sand quarry, and found some sign. Found all sorts of rubs and not much for scrapes though. I don't think I found one scrape in there, but there was rubs and there was heavy trail. So I ducked down into a wash, found this huge wash, and you could hit a whole vacuum effect going on. No matter if you had a north or a south wind, it would actually pull scent through that wash because it was a deep cut. And if there were water running through it, I think it would be moving pretty good. So I thought, well, I should sit up here. So I did for a little bit, and then I second guessed it, got back down, went back up the other side of the wash. I'm just going to keep walking around and finding more sign as I go, and found another scrape, and then found some more rubs, and I just kept following it to where it got thick on top of this ridge before it dumped down into the sand quarry again, because there was several cuts and several ridges there that the back side of them went down to that sand quarry. Well, get up there and, well, sure enough, that's a rub. Walk a little bit further. It's another rub, but it's not very tall. It's not very big. And I stop and I'm looking in the thick stuff, and I see there's a buckthorn tree about this big around. And no, I got to be seeing things. That can't be what I'm seeing. Here it was all freshly tore up. I took pictures of it. I think I posted on Instagram. But, well, yay big, and it was only rubbed about this high up, so it wasn't a real tall rub, but it was all shredded. And I just kind of knelt down and just kind of looking around, and all of a sudden I heard twigs snap probably 10 yards away, and I just see the top of the head and some ears. There's a doe working its way right in there. It's a bedding area. She dropped down into the cut and disappeared. So then I kind of circled around and kind of paralleled that cut, and then came out and just decided to sit at the end of that wash where the wind was blowing through. And then all of a sudden I heard grunting probably 10 minutes before close. And here comes 2 fawns and a doe. And then I could hear a buck still walking around behind the doe and 2 fawns.
Mm-hmm.
I could have shot the doe, I don't know how many times. And the doe kept stopping and looking at me. And then the buck finally, I think actually the fawns were out playing around. They came back up out of the ditch and into the wash and took the doe with them. And then all of a sudden they were up in front of me they crawled the side of that wash and got up on the ridge with me. And it was a 6-pointer, 6 or a 7-pointer. He followed him up, and he was chasing the doe around right in front of me.
That's cool.
Yeah, but never something I really wanted to shoot. And we were only there. That was the first or second day.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to shoot it.
Not time yet.
No, not time yet. But we hit up another property the next morning that was much closer. Really cool property. And we saw some deer, but nothing we wanted to.
Nope. Little bucks.
No, a couple of little bucks and a handful of little does, and that was it.
So after that taste of tough hunting, the Illinois public,
Yeah.
I got spoiled next weekend.
Yeah, you did.
So I was talking to a buddy of mine named Bo. His dad actually is an outdoor writer for a long time, many years. Remember reading his articles when I was a kid. And Bo ended up marrying a childhood friend of mine. So that's how we kind of got hooked up. And he and I have talked hunting a lot, but never hunted together. And he and I were talking about Illinois. He's actually the reason I started going down there. He suggested it.
Yeah.
Because they've been hunting Illinois for a long time, private, that they got permission on. And he was like, how'd it go? And I was like, yeah, man, we struck out. Like, it was tough. And he said, well, let me pull some strings and see if we can get you to come down next weekend. I was like, holy crap. Telling my wife, I'm like, Bo's going to try to get me down there because I know the caliber of deer they shoot and the property they hunt is really, really nice. So he called me back. He said, yep, good to go, man. Like, come on down. So they're staying down there for the whole week. I was like, I just burned all my days, my 2 days I get off down there with Greg.
He's hanging out with me.
I'm coming for
when he could
the
have been
weekend.
hanging out with him.
No, not at all. I love them.
I know. I'm just giving you a hard time. Well, and you almost felt bad because you're like, yeah, I'm going down next weekend. I'm like,
I felt bad telling you because I was like, Bo invited me.
He's like, yeah, and I'm going to that piece of property, man. I'm like, oh, cool. And he's like, oh, I can't even get you down. I'm like, dude, you need to go shoot a deer. You need to go there. That's a huge opportunity. You got to do it.
So it's kind of cool. I drove down there. It's a longer drive,
Yeah.
About 6 hours from here,
Mhm.
and got down there, and it was Bo's dad, who I never met in person. And Bo was leaving that night. He had to work till like 7 o'clock, so he wasn't gonna be down until 1 a.m. So we're gonna hunt in the morning. So Bo's dad and I are kicking back, talking, stories. It was pretty fun, showing me pictures in the camp and stuff, and telling me the setup of their properties. They lease one little property.
You're just getting all this information coming in. You're like,
it's
wow,
just
wow.
great. And
All
he's
this new
like, you'll
experience.
see. He goes, you'll see all the bucks. Bo will get here. I was like, well, isn't Bo coming in at like 1? He's like, oh yeah, he'll look through all the cards. He won't go to bed. I was like, oh, okay. So, Bo did that. I don't think he slept a wink that night. He was just strategizing in his head. We went through all the cards. It's 2 o'clock. We're looking at. I'm like, dude, well, holy cow, look at
You're
these
like, I
bucks.
gotta go to sleep, man. I'm not gonna.
Well, I was pretty wired, man. I don't think sleep was in the books. I mean, they had some big.
I didn't
big
know that
deer.
you didn't sleep. So did you get any sleep at all?
I mean, I laid in bed.
Tossing.
I
and
laid in
turning.
bed, but I mean, they had some beautiful deer on camera. And the first morning, we were just going to hunt behind the little camp there, and we all went out, and it wasn't far at all. But I saw a little 8-pointer right away in the morning, and then a 10-pointer that we'd seen pictures of, which was a young 2-year-old, but a beauty.
Yeah.
He came chase a doe 18 yards right underneath my stand, and I'm like, oh, $2. It's like 8 o'clock. I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm texting. We had like a little group text. I'm like, I saw $2, and Bo's dad's like, I'm up to 7. Bo's like, I see 9. I was like, Jesus, I thought 2 was pretty good.
Yeah.
So these guys, they're seeing a bunch of deer and stuff, and it was just unbelievable. Like,
Nice.
just awesome. I've never hunted private property before, and it was like
not like that.
No, not like that. And so that afternoon, Bo had plans. We were going to go check out another property and put up a stand on a field edge that he's had good luck decoying. Kind of this little back field that comes up to a big field. And he's like, yeah, we're going to throw a stand up so we can hunt there possibly. He's really like thinking about me. I'm down there for 2 days. He's down there for the week. So he's
Mhm.
like, I can tell he's like trying to help
trying
me
to help you
out,
out,
you know, and it's his hunt too. He's got 2 little kids just like us, you know, so I know he doesn't get much time. So that's kind of in the back of my mind. And while we're putting up the stand, a buck comes out 100 yards away, hits a scrape right across the field. We're like, holy crap, it's noon. So we're going to go to another property. We set that stand up, drive to this other property, and they're combining the fields right next to it. And he's like, wow, crap. Maybe we come back tomorrow, freshly combined fields. Let's go back to the spot we just hung. We'll decoy it. We'll hunt together. I was like, oh, that'll be fun. Like I haven't hunted in a
Yeah.
tree with somebody in a while. And we climb up there, man, and it was just silly. As soon as we got in the tree, like 1 o'clock, it's like 65 degrees. Deer coming out.
You're thinking like, man, you think I would need to be here longer for them to like start to filter through, but
they're just deer coming out. We're seeing bucks across the way. The first buck we saw was a
it's like the hunting public.
nice 8-pointer. It was it was silly, and Bo was like, "Let's rattle that one in. That'd be a good one." So we grab the antlers. I start rattling. He perks up. Bo's like, "Oh yeah, the deer here are super aggressive on this property. He'll come." I'm like, "Oh." He's like 150 yards away. I rattle a little bit. Comes running right across the field. And
if there's that many bucks on the property, they're probably like, hey.
That's their joke there is that the bucks are so aggressive on that property. The one guy said, you want to kill a buck, put a concrete decoy out in the field and come back in the morning. There'll be 3 dead bucks standing by it because they'll try fighting it. But that buck came all the way across the field, circled downwind. Bo is filming and giving me the yardage. And as soon as he started circling downwind, he was coming right between me and the decoy. I'm at full draw, and the wind just shifted a little bit. And instead of him coming all the way around in front of me, he got a whiff of it,
hit a wall
out a little bit, and he ran out to about 45 yards. And I'm trying to look where the heck my pin is, and then he spooked a little more. And so, like, I'm kicking myself, you know, hunting public up here, northern Wisconsin.
That's your only
It's
opportunity.
like, oh my God, I blew it. You know, I'm like,
Yeah.
I was like, dude, relax. Like, it's 1 o'clock. He's like, there'll be more. So I'm like, oh my God, this sucks. I blew it. And we saw probably 8 more bucks through the course of the day, some small ones, some nice 8-pointers. And then Bo's target buck, he showed me a picture of this 8-pointer with a split G3 that had 3 tines off it. Comes out at 3:30, jumps the fence. I mean, it's probably like 155-inch 8-pointer. It's huge. And I got my bow in my hand, and I know this is the deer that Bo wanted. I'm like, dude, get your bow. He's like, no, just shoot it. I'm like, get your bow, man. Like, so I hung my bow up and I grabbed my camera. I was like, you better get your bow because I'm not shooting it. So then he finally picked up his bow. But the buck came in, looked at the decoy, gave 0 shits about it. Just put his head down, started feeding like he knew he was the man. There was no competition.
Yeah.
Just started feeding and worked right across the field. Never got closer than about 60 yards and just worked into the woods. And we didn't know where he went. And so we're kind of hoping he pops back out because there's tons of daylight
He's
left.
still around, maybe. Right?
Yep. Yeah. And the deer are filtering in and out of the field. We had a couple of deer in the field, which was nice, young ones. Because anytime a deer was coming, you know, they perked their head up. So it was a nice little alarm system.
Yep.
And then about an hour before dark, right behind us was a steep little ditch in the woods. And the wind was kind of blowing into the woods there. And we could hear deer looking through the leaves of the trees. And Bo's like, dude, there's a bunch of does behind us. Like, don't move. And 5 does, looked like big does, filtered right into that little ditch. And our wind must have blew right over them because they never smelled us.
Lucky.
And then all of a sudden, I hear a grunt. Burp, burp. And that's where that big 8 came from. And I was like, dude, there's a buck in there with him. Get your bow ready. He's going to come out. Bo says, was it the big one? I said, I don't know. I catch a glimpse of antler, and I'm like, oh, it looks nice, but I don't think it's the big one. Bo goes, well, grab your bow. They're going to pop out right here. And the does start popping out, and they're looking at the decoy, and all of a sudden that buck just starts chasing those does out. And immediately when I saw it, I was like, I'm shooting that. So Bo's like, you want him? I was like, yep.
Yep, we're good.
So he chased the does a little bit and then saw the decoy and started coming right over to the decoy, puffing up his hair. And I said, Bo, how far is that doe? He said, 38 yards or something. I had my pin at 35. Buck worked in. He was at 38 yards. I shot him while he was just slowly
with the pin at
walking.
35?
Yep. Held
Okay.
mid-body and smoked him pretty good. And he ran about 30 yards, stood there, and blood is pouring out. And then he stayed on his feet for probably almost a minute, maybe longer, just running, trying to stand, blood pouring out. And then he made it to the edge of the field. Right
Tipped
there.
over.
So it was pretty, it was
That's
an
like-
awesome hunt. It was
yeah,
super
holy
fun.
crap.
But it was like so different than what I'm used to. But
Felt like you're
I
on
enjoyed
like
it.
a TV show or like
Yeah, it was cool. So Bo filmed the whole thing. So it's up on his YouTube Ghost Bucks
I don't
channel.
think Did you? I haven't seen it.
It's pretty cool. He did a nice job with it.
Okay. Did you see it?
I did. I watched it.
I'm just out of the loop here, guys. you know what? You guys.
I think I sent it to the group.
No, you probably did.
No,
I don't know.
I think you.
No, I just really want to see it. I'm gonna put it on the big. Well, I don't have a big screen. But I'll put it on the TV.
There you
not
go.
the phone. The bigger of the screens compared to a cell phone screen.
But yeah, I mean, it was cool. I don't know. I don't share a tree a lot with like.
Well, how great
friends.
to someone to tell you the yardage too.
So,
like, man, that's
it was,
awesome.
It was
Yeah.
amazing. And then like,
All you
of
gotta
course
do is worry about us shooting.
it's 10 times more exciting when somebody's there. So it was like,
Yeah.
it was just a lot of fun.
That's cool.
Awesome.
And then those guys kept hunting all week. So that was the first night. It was the first day.
So
I was
did you
down
stay
there.
the whole weekend?
I stayed Sunday. So I stayed that night. We took care of the deer, had fun, deer camp, celebrated. Then in the morning, I filmed Bo for most of the day. And then I took off
Mhm.
around like 3:00.
Your wife's probably super happy.
Yeah, she was like, "You're on your way, right?" Yeah, I will be. I will be.
Yeah.
So I headed home, and then those guys stayed for the week. And the 3 other guys in camp, Bo, his dad, and then my friend's dad, Bo's father-in-law, all shot giant bucks.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was a pretty incredible week.
So you guys, we have
Awesome.
heads up. Because of all of the tech drama that we had starting off, I forgot to turn the phone line on, so and I can't do it now.
Yeah.
It's just not, whatever. So I said to the folks in the live chat, like, chat in some questions or whatever if you want, because some people wanted to call in. Go
Yeah,
figure.
yeah.
So sorry to Missy who said she was going to call in, but Nico asked. So we have 2 questions here. I think it'd be fun to answer some. How much stock hunting do you do versus stand hunting? And we could probably all take a stab at that. I don't know if people care to hear how the Okayest Hunters hunt, but I mean,
Yeah. Primarily I was doing mostly stand hunting and with the saddle, and the saddle was kind of the nice option to either climb a tree or not. But I probably did that 4 times this year out of, I want to say, at least 20 sits. So not a ton, but it was nice because I had contact out of the 2 times I decided to still hunt because of the conditions or the lack of trees to crawl up. It went pretty well for me. I mean, I had deer within 10 yards of me. Shoot, I had that 6-pointer the weekend before I shot my 9-pointer come 3 yards away. I mean, I could have drawn on him several times, and then he was right here, right in my face. And when he spooked, he was like, couldn't believe what he had seen. He turned around. Did that just happen? Did I just see a guy there? It was pretty cool. And does, I had a couple of encounters with the does, but didn't want to take the shot because there was too much junk in the way. All that autumn olive and other nasty stuff.
yeah. I think
You do any still hunting or stalking in that property you were hunting this year? Because that's
Yeah.
a lot of like open grassy
quite
stuff,
a bit.
right?
Yeah. In fact, the time when I called both you when you're both heading to Illinois, I was on the ground.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And you had action that night, didn't you?
Yeah, and I put myself in like some canary grass cover. There's like some bramble bushy things I got in the center of it all, and I, kind of, made out a couple of shooting lanes. So I was perfectly concealed. I mean, really, the only thing that was gonna happen is my arrow was gonna shoot through some grass, an opening, right? So that was honestly was pretty excited about that. The buck didn't come like down the lane that I needed.
Yeah.
And then honestly, up until like probably last year, I've been doing still hunting for 6 years off the ground. I just stopped getting in tree stands. I just didn't have good enough equipment that
Right.
it's not even that. It was good equipment. It was just not convenient equipment.
Yeah.
It was like a buckle clamp metal, and I'd use my teeth to pull it tight and like ratchet it down. Like my dad knows what I'm talking about when he listens to this. And I was just like, I'll just hunt on the ground. And if I want to get up and move, I had like a little, I called it a butt pad. It was like a little inflatable one, and it, you let out the air so it fits perfectly in between you and the ground and molds to your ass cheeks. It was great. So I'd find any good spot on a tree. And the first deer I ever killed was the first deer I got with my bow was on the ground on that butt pad.
Your doe you shot this year, the one you hit early season?
That was on the ground too.
Right?
Mhm.
It was on the ground.
Yep. Because I didn't have the saddle platform yet, and I didn't have Greg's stand because he, wanted it back because it's his. So I didn't have that in my possession yet. So I just
make me feel like shit.
Hey, Eric, I'm gonna need that back. And then, so oddly enough, when I went to Pennsylvania, I hunted out of the saddle, but then I took a second sit for my afternoon sit because I was only there for one day, and I left the platform back at the truck, and I just brought the sticks. I just wanted to mention this because it was a little bit lighter. I didn't really care about the weight. I wasn't going far, but it was a little more convenient and compact even though it's still pretty convenient and compact anyways, but this was even more so. And I thought it'd be easier to just set up. Like, how easy? 3 sticks, sit at the top of the top stick and call it a day. Don't recommend doing that if you're going to do a long sit.
Absolutely.
It was very
The arches of your feet gotta
different
feel
in terms of
not so good.
comfortability without the platform. And for everyone that's talking about saddles versus stands and still hunting and all that stuff, the saddle versus the stand, it's a horse apiece. The time to set up seems about similar, just a couple different nuances about it. And also, I think the saddle gives you, the tree's in front of you, so you have some concealment. You're shooting around the tree versus a stand. You're usually off to one of the side angles or something based on where you're shooting from left to right. And if you're going to frickin' sit in anything for 8 hours, my Ford truck isn't comfortable for 8 hours, and that seat's great. A stand is not comfortable. A saddle is the most comfortable thing, but even after that long, you're still
If it fits
it's just
you
is
right.
what it is. So with the adjustments of the latitude, there's enough bebopping around in there where you can make that thing. You can take the pressure off here. You can make it so you're sitting right. Make it so you're standing on your feet. So there's a little bit more with the stand. You're either standing or you're sitting. And that's kind of when you're standing, it's a little uneasy because you got that tether,
Right.
that cord that if you fall, it'll catch. But you're not with the saddle. You're always tension.
Yeah.
So I just feel a little safer. There's no fall that's going to happen. I've already fallen.
The last month here in Wisconsin, just with like after opening weekend and then muzzle loader, I did exactly what you said. I just brought 3 sticks, my double step. I got the custom gear double steps.
Yep.
And I just wore my saddle, and then whatever tree I just needed to get up a little bit with the muzzle loader with the gun, I just stood on the top step. I wasn't able to get out long. It's mostly after work or whatever. So sitting for 2 hours, that's no problem.
I quick sit. It's good.
I just literally carried them in my hand, carry the steps and wear your saddle and you're good to go.
So very compact. It just depends on the type of hunt that you're doing. I realized I was talking the whole damn time without the camera on me.
It's okay.
I tell you. And are you your saddle stand? You're a little both. You're using your tools.
Yeah, I flip flop between the two. I will say that I am not a patient ground hunter. I watch those hunting public guys and like that Zach Fehrenbaugh. I give him all the credit in the world. He stands there in glasses. I am impatient. I don't do that.
So then you need to be in something so it forces you to sit.
I want to be in a tree stand. If I see a deer, I'll ground hunt. I'll stalk. But otherwise, I'm sneaking into my stand location and getting into a tree as quick as I can. That's just how I do it.
Nice.
With a gun in hand, I love being on the ground. Still hunting is awesome with a rifle.
Yep.
Can't beat it.
No, it's a lot of fun to be able to, and if you had some snow to track, but you had.
Yep, I got to do that. Weekend. I got to do that up north. After opening weekend in Wisconsin, things are pretty.
It's pretty tough.
Pretty locked down as far as movement goes. So unless you've got something real hot on the public lands, it seems to be just move and get them up and get your chance. From my experience.
So this other question that's on the screen there, Derek, you want to read that off?
Which one are we looking at here?
That one that's in black right there on the screen.
Which season would you prefer, filling a buck tag, a nice buck, or filling 3 doe tags?
Ooh.
This is like a would you rather?
I can
both. Yeah. I want to do all of those.
I can kind of
can here.
Yeah.
You can get 2-3 does in a buck.
Yeah,
if you can do it
very easily. I mean, I've come pretty close. I had 1 year where I shot 4 does, 3 with the bow and 1 with the gun. And then I've had it where like last year was 2 does, no buck, and almost a 3rd doe with the gun. So, you take what's given to you. It's not always easy. There's guys that make it look easy. They're, maybe they've got more time in the woods than we do, or they're just better than we are, which
is okay.
It's all right.
What was that motion? What do you want them to do to you? That was a bow.
We're not worthy.
A bow, not a bob.
Yeah, there's a difference there.
What are you doing there, Greg? They're better than us? It's like, whoa.
Wow.
I would have to say that depends on where you drug those does out of.
That too.
3 drags. I'll drag a buck out of just about anywhere, but I'm pretty picky about where I shoot my does with a bow. If I cannot shoot them back in the shit, I won't.
You were with me on a real dandy, weren't you?
I've helped you drag one out of there last season. You got that one back there. Same.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That was a real fun one.
Missy was going to call in, but since I didn't turn that on, have y'all used any deer calls before?
Grunt call.
Do you want to talk about my snort wheeze scenario?
You should share that okayest moment. Yeah. What was that? Yeah, I don't think so. Peace out.
Yeah. I tried grunting at that buck.
No, you tried snort wheezing.
Oh,
at that
I
buck.
tried grunting first,
That
and
didn't do
he
it.
didn't care for that. Well, he did not care. He just didn't do anything. I was like, all right, let's kick it up a notch.
Is that while he's chasing a doe?
No, he was just up and out of. He
Moving?
just stood out of his bed, and there was another buck nearby, and there had just been a 6-pointer that came through and ran out, like, didn't run off, but he just meandered away. And so like, okay, there's 3 bucks back here. That's the biggest one that I'm seeing. Grunt. See his antlers moving around, but he's not responding. He's not doing anything. I'm like, well, he's going the opposite direction of me. So like, I wanted to try something to get him to come my direction. He was very clearly going to head a different path. So I was like, well, I don't have anything to lose. Let's just Hail Mary this son of a bitch. And I was like trying to do snort wheeze in the other, like over the whole week. I was just snort wheezing in my car. I was snort wheezing on live Instagram.
Sounded like
snort
he was
wheezing
doing a
with
line
Greg.
of cocaine off the toilet.
So I was like, I'm gonna give it a try. So I did it. I snort.
He's got a sinus problem. You're all right, dude.
So I snort wheeze him, and then he ran off. I was like, bullshit. You're the big guy in town. You're not the dominant buck. You, man.
I will say this though, in my experience, the grunt call at the older deer is not an immediate reaction.
No.
Okay.
A lot of times you grunt and those big bucks will just pretend like they never heard you. And what you'll notice is as they walk away, because almost always walk away, but one ear will be cupped back toward you where they heard it. And they'll walk away, but then they'll start to circle. And a lot of times they'll come back, but it'll be like 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Because I've messed up a lot up north with older bucks and grunting and in open territory and they don't see you.
Yeah, it's a
like,
learning
you
process. You're trying to like,
react. It's like a turkey. You want them to gobble. Like, come on, let's go. And I messed up way more than it's worked. But a lot of times those bigger ones will come around. Those 2-year-olds will come right in sometimes.
Yeah.
But the bigger ones.
And this was a bigger one. I think you had some idea of which buck that was in your neighborhood over there. And
he was pretty nice. I believe he was a big 10-pointer, probably 150-inch 10-pointer. Big old farm buck.
Pretty good buck.
Yeah.
It was cool. It was the second. So, and I was showing Mitch Baker that buck that I think is the one that it's very logical that that's the one that I whiffed on. And Mitch is like, that's a 150 all day, man. I'm like, don't tell me that. Don't tell me
you
that.
even looked at it and said that's easily 150. So it's a big deer.
Yep. And then I saw that smaller 10 that same night.
You didn't whiff at it. You didn't take a shot at it. You just.
The scenario was a whiff.
Yeah.
It was just a ill stack situation that
happens.
It's cool because it was there. It didn't have an opportunity to pull it off. So what are you going to do?
We've all been there.
Yeah.
Favorite calling technique. It worked this year also in Illinois. Bring one antler with me pretty much all of September and October. And if I can find a dead branch that still has oak leaves on it, I would put that on my bow and bring it up the tree with me, and raking the tree with the antler and raking those leaves like something is raking its antlers in a scrape has drawn in a lot of bucks for me.
So rather than just 2 antlers
rattling scares the crap out of them. I've only rattled in 1 buck in my life out of the 180 times I've rattled. It's worked once. The raking the trees has worked multiple times.
It's less aggressive.
Here in Wisconsin, we're often known as the fickle land of the coupon clippers. We're very conservative in our approach. I guess the deer just seem to be the same effing way because people are like, I call them deer all the time, whatever. And like in Wisconsin, they're just not as responsive. You've said this. You're like, dude, don't do that here. They don't work here.
Yeah, I've never had a snort wheeze work. Now there's other people that have, but grunt call is attending grunt. It seems to work. Well, the biggest deer I've shot, that 8-pointer off by me, he was working a scrape, working a whole rub line.
Mm-hmm.
And actually that's how I found him, was he had already walked through that area and tore it all up. And then I just, all right, he's either going to come from this way or this way. I could have deer come from behind me. There's a lot of sign here, just set up. And I did. And, an hour before dark, he came working through to freshen up some spots that he must have missed. And it was kind of windy, so I hit him with a grunt. He didn't hear it. He was going to turn around and go back the way he came. Better put a little more behind it. Hit it with one more grunt. It was like someone kicked him in the ass, and he turned around and went, I don't think so. And he came hauling ass right through, and I knew where he was coming through, so I already had the bull at full draw. And as soon as he came through, he was 1/4 and I let go, and I watched him die.
So that worked for you.
Yeah, it worked.
I tried grounding that deer that I watched tend to doe. The same day I whiffed on that situation, and he heard it, but he's like, "Bro, I got a doe right here. I don't care. I've already won."
I don't know if you saw this.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
like,
But I
"Yeah,
just did.
Yeah.
bruh."
Yeah. If you want in on this,
You're
can
grunt
come
all you
over and
want.
Talk to me. But
Because I was watching him
otherwise
chase
just stay
away.
over there.
Speaking to the mic, little man.
Yeah.
He chased away a fork, and I was like, "Oh, all right. Well, he's like aggressive right now. He's defending this area."
That's
in
because
this
the
doe.
fork was in its space. You were not. You were on
Right.
top of the hill. You're
Yeah.
just some
Yeah.
okay guy up on top of the hill there.
Forget you, buddy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Hey, it's worth a shot though, right? Like, what else are you gonna do?
Yeah.
I'm trying to see if there's any other comments here. Got on with the only one on the ground. I've shot 5 deer. Only one was in a tree. 3 spotted and stalked. Nice.
Sweet.
All right. Who else we got? Oh, someone's saying Mike said you guys need to learn ring of steps or wild edge tree stands. I've seen that, the ring of steps.
I've used that before.
I guess when you're in a saddle and you have that tether on, it's pretty tight to the tree. So it's a little bit of putzing around to get that to rotate around. I feel like depending on the bark of the
With
tree, it might make
practice-
noise and stuff, but
with-
maybe you get better at it.
With practice,
I'm
you'll
pretty
figure it out.
stationary.
Yeah.
Myself.
I actually didn't mind the ring of steps at all because I like to have 1 foot on each side of the tree. Just
Mhm.
felt comfy. My knees
Yeah.
weren't hitting the tree then.
Right.
So I actually didn't mind it. I ended up selling mine just because somebody was looking to pay a pretty good price for the old Ameristeps, and I had some. So I offloaded them just for my little platform. But I didn't mind them at all. I kind of liked them.
That's pretty cool. I haven't tried them.
And Wild Edge makes a couple of cool products for guys doing saddle. I mean, even the steps that they build, you know, they have the rope that goes around the tree. You wrap it around and you cam lock it in. It's just a single step. They're all made of steel. They're a patented design that's been around for quite a while. So they're not.
And they have that really cool, their perch or whatever.
Yeah.
Just like a platform that
Yep.
fits onto them. So if you already have them, you need a platform.
Yep.
Pretty good idea.
Or you just put 2 or 3 of them around at the top of where you want to be. And I don't know. I don't see that as a bad way of going either. But it's great for a piece of private where you can leave that.
Absolutely.
You know, where us being more mobile and not able to go out and just prep trees and leave stuff lay or leave stuff in it, it's not conducive to the way we hunt. Sticks seem to be a bit more efficient for us. Yeah.
Kind of where you're at, man.
Mm-hmm.
Oak Tree Dreams. Do you guys have an okayest moment from this season? I'm guessing from previous podcasts, you might have a few. I have one, and I don't want my wife to hear it, but I'll tell it anyway. She doesn't watch. If she is, I'm about to get my ass handed to me.
Attaboy.
And I don't
I'm
think you guys
excited.
know about this either. Let me just see if I can remember how this all went down. So, yeah, okay. I set up on a tree in the saddle.
This season? This year?
Yep. And I'm just trying to think which freaking hunt this was. Like where? I'm trying to think where I was. It got pretty sketchy for me. I had my stick set up, got in the stand, brought my bow up, hunted the whole hunt. Life was great. What I didn't realize is that when I brought my bow up, it snagged on the top stick or the second stick, one of the two, and then it like
Did your stick?
Yeah. So then my stick dropped down. And I'm like one of those idiots you see in the like a climber without the bottom half. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm stuck up here right now.
Stranded on a desert
I'm in a
isle.
saddle. So like, okay, I'm not falling, but it's
I would have
getting,
loved to film that.
Oh,
it was
man.
getting pretty quick because I had already kind of like loosened some stuff up and
Dork goes hunting.
whatever.
Here
and
we go.
So then I like threw the platform down and I'm like, oh God.
Let's party.
And so I like, then I was like, okay, I have to go back into like
Let's
childhood
do
mode. I'm like,
this.
I'm going to grip this freaking tree and I'm going to shimmy down it. So that my legs are on it real tight. I was like,
Do like the
almost fall-
fireman pole?
Yeah, dude, it got sketchy quick. I was
He's
like,
like a
Jesus
toddler.
Christ.
His little legs are kicking. Where are you? I can't find it.
And I was like, it was one of those moments where you're like, I'm making some pretty serious, like any one decision I make is going to have an impact here and it could go bad quick. And so I was being like really careful knowing I was already up a creek without a paddle.
Without a stick.
Yeah. So I would say that was, I'm like thinking about something like,
Touche.
this is the kind of shit. Does this happen to other freaking people? You know, like, come on. And I was talking to Mitch Baker when we were out hunting. He's talking about like how, you know, for me, the wind was blowing one day, and it moved my tow rope for my bow so far that I can't get my freaking bow up. It was like stuck around some other tree branch. I was like, Jesus Christ! And then so Mitch was saying something like that happened to him. He's like, oh, I had to climb all the way back down and go get my stuff. And my dad, he was telling me one where he forgot to just clip his bow all together, so he's dragging it up and there's nothing there.
Yeah.
So there's all these goofy
That's
ass
the
moments,
reason
man.
I bought one of those silly little hoist ropes with the retractable string.
You got the
It's
dog.
because I'm always up in the stupidest trees, and when I would get up there, I could never get my bow up. It was wrapped around everything, so I'd always have to get that down. I was like so pissed. I was like, I'm buying one of those stupid retractable things, and I actually love it. So I'm glad I did it.
I got to look at this up because I've had too many situations this season,
Doyle's
especially.
Game Hoist is what
Doyle's
I got.
Game Hoist.
Yeah,
So it's just a
kinda big.
retractable,
Yeah, so you clip it on
like a
and
dog leash.
I got it clipped
Yeah.
on my pack, so when you walk up, it just comes
retracts.
out with you. It stays super
So it can
tight.
still maybe get caught on something here and there, but not
it could,
nearly
but
as
way
bad.
less likely.
Yeah,
way
okay.
less.
Because you have tension on it. It's not getting caught by the wind and wrapping around into little tiny twigs.
I've got two okayest moments from the recent past. One of them was last week, Wednesday, last day of muzzleloader.
Uh-oh.
I ran out super quick after work to a spot I wanted to go, thick bedding area. Thought maybe it was untouched, maybe the deer would be in there. Freaking blazing out of there because I've only got like an hour and 10 minutes after I get my stuff. So I head down there. I'm throwing my clothes on as fast as I can. I grab my 3 sticks, my saddle, my muzzleloader, and I grabbed 1 primer. And I should have known right there to take 2. I run back to this spot. I got to cross this creek. It's iced over. It's like I'm like sliding across, and I got across without getting wet. And I just up the bank on the other side. I climb this tree. It's perfect. Get my steps up. My gun is it's on a sling over my back.
Yeah,
So
over your
get my
shoulder.
sticks up, saddle that thing on, flip it over, and the latch, it's a brake muzzle loader, got hooked on something and opened. So when I pull it off, it's open, and I know that freaking primer fell out, and I look, no primer.
No
So
primer.
now
No
I'm all
weapon.
set up way in the back with the muzzle loader with no way to shoot the damn thing.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, well, guess I'm scouting today.
Yes.
So got back down, scouted. I was like, you got to be kidding me. Last day of muzzleloader, that's
Oh,
how
man.
my Wisconsin season's going.
It's
What about you,
rough.
Greg?
Mine? Oh, Derek was along for this one when we were in Illinois. This one property that we hunted was a bit of a hike to get to the back end.
Which one are you talking about?
You know the one. Across the river, up to...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Now I know.
yeah. You remember now.
I
gotcha. So Derek's like, yeah, it's a long walk to get back there. Okay. We got to cross a river. All right. Then we got to go up the side of this big steep ass ravine. Like, okay. And then we get to the top and then it's all the way back. All right. You'll find it. Okay. Get out there. No big deal. See the deer, see the one deer, get down. We figured it's time to get down. And I'm walking along to get out of the woods, and I'm looking, and I'm finding not cell cams, but trail cams all over the place. I'm like, so I messaged Derek. I'm like, was there ever a lot of trail cameras back here? No. So I think I took a picture of one of the trail cameras just to prove it, and then I come out of the woods, and it's all tall canary grass. Well, put my phone in my pocket, walk out, bump a doe on the way out. Meet up with Derek. Derek bumped a deer or saw a deer. We're chatting. We're yucking it up, and all right, grab our stuff, switch into our rubber boots, walk the rest of the way down, get down to the side of the ravine, get across the river, start getting about halfway up the other side, and I just, for the hell of it, I grab for my phone. I'm like, yeah. He's like, I'm like, giving signs to
It's like
steal
a
second.
stomp competition
Yeah.
over there.
Yeah, where's the 3-tap system here?
Yeah, I was telling him to steal third, and looking around, he's like, "What's the matter?" I'm like, "No phone." Oh, are you kidding? Tore everything apart. Nope, no phone. I'm like, I have a pretty good idea where it might be. Where do you think it is? I'm like, you're not going to be very happy. And if you want to stay here or head back to the truck, here's the keys. I'll be there, and when I'm there. No, I'm coming with. So we drop all our crap. It was a yard sale in the middle of the ravine there.
Somebody could have made out pretty good.
Pretty good. So we hightail it back down, rubber boots on, get across the river, get up the side of the ravine, get down, through the canary grass. He's like, which way did you go? I'm like, oh, I went over here. Are you sure? I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty positive because that's the tree I jumped a deer from. And over there, this is the way I followed. So, okay. So we go and he's looking and we're not finding it. And I'm like, I bet I know where it is. Not 3 steps from where I took that last picture and stuffed it in my pocket. It went and hit the ground right where the grass was laid flat.
Okay.
There it was, cell phone laying there. But it took all that distance to get to it. And luckily it was laying on the flat part of the grass. I had in that jacket, I had like breather vents.
Yeah.
There were zip down vents where if you had the pair of bibs that goes with it, you could stick your hands in there for a hand warmer. And then there's zip pockets right in front. I thought I stuck it in a zip pocket. Here I stuck it in the vent pocket, and it went right down my pant leg. And
Hey, at least we found it.
yeah,
Man.
yeah, we found it. So that was my Okayest Hunter moment.
Wait, and usually your phone is set to vibrate. So
And,
it doesn't
and
help
it was.
matters.
They're like, he's like, I'll call it. I'm like, we're never gonna hear it.
You have the Find My iPhone. Maybe your wife could have helped you, but
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It says you're over here, but you're not there, huh?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You'd have to
Exactly.
call her from his phone or something like
Well,
that.
yeah, and he was, and she'd have been
Yeah.
like, what's this strange number?
She'd have to call it if she knows you're out doing something in some other
Mhm.
state.
Mhm.
Yeah, this auto director thing, I do what I want it to do. I tell you, technology. I'm not done with technology today, guys. Oh boy,
I told you about my miss, right?
I don't
My,
know.
my other okayest moment.
I think so.
It's not a very proud one.
I'm sure
So
they're
probably
real. So
shouldn't have done
people
this.
are like really liking hearing
The
us-
okayest?
all our f ups.
Oh,
Yeah, good. Okay, here's
Yeah,
a good
we'll keep
okayest one. This was
self-deprecating.
right before Wisconsin's gun season. Another after work hunt. Ran out super fast to a spot I wanted to try along this little creek. Mountain bike down a path, flying 18th gear, whatever the hell it is on a mountain bike, I was hauling ass, and ditched the bike. I think I ghost rided it for a little while because I'm running. Get out to this tree I want to climb up. It's like canary grass along a little creek, and it's brushy on the sides, and of course, deer bedded right underneath the tree I wanted to climb. If it takes off, a little nubby or something, I'm like, all right, whatever. Climb up in the tree, get set up, sitting for like an hour and a half before it gets dark, and I'm feeling around for my flashlight. As it's closing, I don't see any deer. No flashlight. One of those things in a
Yep.
hurry again.
Mhm.
See the pattern? You know, you've
Oh,
seen
yeah,
my
it-
vehicle. You've seen how my brain operates. It's not organized.
You and me are the same way.
No flashlight. I'm like, all right, I'll just get down a couple minutes early. This is stupid anyway. Nothing. And I'm going to get out of here while it's still a little light. So I get down, got my stand on my back, my sticks, carrying my bow. I make it about 40 steps from my tree. And on the other side of the creek, standing in the grass, real nice 8-point buck, just outside the ears, just standing there looking at me. I'm like, you son of a... He's just looking at me so stupid. I'm like, all right, I'll knock an arrow. He'll run away. Knock an arrow. He's still standing there.
He ain't running away.
CWD
He's
or
just
something?
looking at me. I'm like, all right, I'll draw back. He'll run away. No, he's still standing there. I was like, whatever. I can still see through my peep just fine. I was like, I don't have a release on it. It's in my pack. Made that mistake, right? So I'm 3-fingering
Yeah,
my
you got one of our
compound.
stickers, right?
That D loop. I'm like, get that D loop out of my mouth. I'm like, there is no way this is gonna work, but I gotta try. It's my last day to bow hunt before gun season. So he's facing me. And I got the heavy arrows with the cut on contact iron wells. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna drill him right in the neck, or I'm gonna miss him. Like it'll work. Like, and man, I shot about 1.5 feet to the left. Good relief.
Yeah.
way over there.
What the hell
You
happened?
pull through it. You pull through it. No, you don't
Yeah,
pull through it.
those
Oh, he
things-
pulled through it. Look
It
at that.
was
He
hard
threw
to
it.
get that smooth release with those giant knots and my D loop ripping my finger. It wasn't smooth. I don't practice doing that. I don't know
No.
if anybody does. It was a really stupid idea. I shouldn't have done it, but I just thought
Did we get you enough of those stickers?
it's a Hail Mary. Had the release, just not smart enough to wear it.
Oh yeah, okay.
See, and I always take mine off because
Not
I don't
smart.
like clanking against all my.
That's
my
so. That's
tree
it because
sticks,
that's
you know?
always a thing. Like having it on dry. It's like I'll climb the tree with the thing. I'm like it drives me nuts. It's always doing something I don't want to do.
flopping around.
But I'm like,
I tuck it
man,
in my
I tell you, the
glove,
moment
like,
I
I'll roll
don't-
it around and tuck it in the glove, but when I get down, I'm like, I'm done. You know,
When I
You're
get
right.
that, that's what I assumed
Yeah.
I was done.
All right,
Like,
you're done.
It's
Yeah.
dark, right?
gotta put it in the pack. 'cause
But I got down a
technically,
little early. I should.
If you run into a
I'll
ward,
never not have it on when I'm supposed to. I'll put it on when I'm walking out. I'll keep it on the whole time up the tree because I'm like, this is the shit. This is the
Keep
shit.
it on when you drive home.
that will
You
ma-
never
Yeah,
know.
right.
he's taking a shower with it on.
Man. Greg and I we were leaving Sauk County and on the way back to the main highway we saw what close to 40 doe.
Oh, it was ridiculous.
And it was
It's
still
stupid.
light too. I was like,
You'll
shit.
never believe it.
Yeah,
It's
it
so
was nuts.
there's so many does. Nobody doe hunts up there. Nobody doe hunts.
And I
get it.
wanted
We
some
all
meat
want to
too.
shoot a buck.
I wanted some meat. I
We
was
all
like,
want to shoot a
"Damn it."
buck, but do your part. If you know that area's got a ton of does, just kill one. Kill two. They're
I think
small.
you and I have talked about this a whole
Yeah.
bunch with does and
Yeah.
the old mindset. Landowners, you want to keep your does around
Keep
for
your
the
does
rut.
around for the
But
rut.
the more does you have, and I don't know if anybody else can attest to this who's on with us, but the more does you have, the less the bucks
The less
have
bucks.
to move.
They don't have to move.
find does.
They don't
Yeah,
do
there's less
anything.
So you get a
competition.
way less.
They don't have to worry
intense
about
rut.
the does in different area codes. They got all the does they want right there.
Yeah,
Why-
what did I
why do
say
they
the
gotta
other-
move?
They got
They don't have to
99.
move.
I got 99
No.
problems, but I don't ain't one.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
the
Does
to go.
all.
I tell you, Oak Tree Dreams. I thought I lost my keys in the lake duck hunting opening day.
That's rough.
What does SMH stand for again? Forget that. It means something. Smeh.
Shake my head.
Shake my head. That's what it
Shake
is.
my
Okay,
head.
shake my head. We made it to our spot, but man, I thought we were gonna have problems loading the boat up to get home. Michael Kretschmer. Oh God, I can't say last names.
Michael.
I'm sorry. We know who you are.
Mikey.
I had a really good one this year. I don't know what that means. You're at that thing. What is happening?
Hook
I
phonics
thought
did
it was
not
an
work
okay
for you.
I don't know. Fiat thing
You're-
thought of was an okayest moment.
I think he crashed his Fiat
I thought it was like, yeah.
parking in the parking lot, the public land
Come on,
spot.
Michael. Try to type that one up again. Got a lot of eye rolls there, but
It happens, Mike.
setting me up for failure over here.
It's all good, man.
So,
Okay, it's
Are you done?
podcasting moments.
are you done? Is your
With
season
the
over?
moments? Yeah, no, it is now. It was. I wasn't gonna go to Sauk County, and then when Doug Dern messages you and says you should come, I'm like, fuck, I gotta go.
Well, and then Mitch Baker messages me. He's
He
like,
gave us
hey,
he got
I
us
got a
land.
spot for you guys.
Yeah,
All right. Let's drive up in the morning. It was only $1.20 to get there. It's not a big deal.
it wasn't bad at all, and so I was happy to go. I would have liked to get a doe to get some meat, quite honestly, but no, I think I'm done. Like it's a toll on the family, and I'm not even saying it because I want my wife to think I genuinely care. It's hard on all of us. So Greg and I were talking about this on the way up or down or whatever it was. Like
Both.
we're gonna have to figure out a different way to do next season. I might just need to hunt the rut hard, and that's it. Although, guys, I had a really good idea for some content and for some fun.
We'll talk about it later.
I'll tell you. Maybe I won't say it on live
I think
or
I'll
whatever.
save that nugget. Let's chat
But
about
it's
it
going to be
off air.
really fun. And I think no one's done it. It's never been done. It's never been done.
All right, I'm
let us do
interested.
it.
I'm
So
interested.
there might be that and then this. It might be like two big pushes, and that might give me the ground cover. Like I think we were talking about, just get past, Halloween, and then boom, let's go, kind of thing. But you know how it is. Like I think this year my wife's like, it was July. She's like, "Are you really freaking getting into this shit? Are you really getting into the mode?" She's like, "It's happening earlier every year." I was like, "I think you're right. I don't know what's happening. It's coming
Just-
over me." I'm like freaking out.
Just wait till it's all year.
It is.
Did you
all
see
year.
the meme we put out today?
No, I didn't.
The GIF? Rocky Balboa? You can't
No,
just
it's
turn it
not
off.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, Rambo. Sorry,
God,
Sylvester
terrible.
Stallone. Whatever. It crossed the
It's
wire.
terrible.
It was Rambo, and he's like, "It's over. He's like, nothing's over. Nothing's over. You don't just turn it off."
You
It's
don't.
like, dude. Someone that follows us on Facebook posted that yesterday. I was like, "Yo, I'm using this," and it was pretty clutch.
That is genius.
Yeah,
though.
it was good.
I mean, really though, there are people who are stupid like me who just think about this shit.
Oh, here we go. So Michael said 5.5
Sure
hours
thing.
north. Brought my kid's 20 gauge duck gun, not my odd 6. Wrong case. So stupid. I didn't check.
Oopsie.
You brought the wrong gun.
So
You
you're-
should have seen my face when I opened the case.
Yeah.
That's a good
so,
one,
So
man.
you're on your way to the hardware store to buy some Remington Slugger 20 gauge, the kind
Oh.
that rattled down the barrel.
What are the odds they have any of those sitting on the
Probably not
shelf?
very good, man.
That's funny. Rambo
They-
was great today. Yeah. that was-
So, what did you do then?
Yeah,
yeah, I wish we could
Was
get the
there a
calls
solution?
going, but
Mr. Kretschmer, what did you do?
I
I
forgot.
gotta
Well,
know.
he were waiting for him to respond. My dad, one year, we get back to the motel, which is torn down now in Prairie du Chien.
Well,
The
that's-
Delta Motel is no more. It's gone. But it's pretty shitty, but it's okay. We got back there. My dad's like, "This is pretty light." It's like, "I'll be right back. I gotta go get my gun." So he drives back to the freaking woods, and sure enough, his gun was right where he left it, leaning on the tree.
That's
Because
good.
that was like when the rules were you couldn't have your gun up on your truck, your
Yep,
car.
couldn't lean it against.
You had to lean, so he forgot it. Well, then the following year, I shot a buck, and it was, last light shooting hours kind of scenario. So I dragged him out of the dark, and we're all happy. We're gripping grands. Everyone's great. We're talking. And then we get back to the hotel, and I grab my gun case. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Where's my gun? Leaning up against a freaking tree where I set it down to take the pictures of the buck.
Hold my beer.
So my buddy Mike's like, are you guys kidding me? Like father, like son.
Was that the same trip? Same weekend?
Same, two, just a year apart.
Gotcha.
So my dad happened to him and then to me.
I've lost a lot of knives gutting deer
God.
like that
All-
in the dark.
all
And you
the
set
knives.
it down, and then it's like, who the hell thinks about the knife? Not
I
me.
had a real good Okayest moment in that marsh, in that swamp where I got those deer this year. We were gun hunting, had a group of guys, we were pushing, and I think I was just in my pack to get something out. I think I was getting a granola bar out or whatever. Well, I didn't get it zipped all the way. Truck keys, my cell phone, my wallet, and my my box of 30-06 shells. I heard a deer take off in front of me as I'm stuffing my face, and I'm like, nope, that one ain't getting away. Chucked the granola bar and ran after it.
Oh boy.
Those pockets were open, and I'm hauling ass to try
Oh
and
my
catch up
God.
this thing. And I got
Snickers is flying.
everything's going.
Get that in
It's a yard
slow-mo.
sale. It's a
I'm
complete,
picturing it.
it's a complete yard sale going through all that tall caney crap. And I get out to the edge of the field, and just in time for it to see it clear the ditch and get off into another piece of land. And, oh man, whatever. So
And unbeknownst to you, you didn't know this happened.
no,
yet.
I had no clue. I had lost all this shit. So actually I had my cell phone in my pocket. So it was my truck keys, my wallet, and my rounds. Get down, meet up with the group. We're yucking it up, shooting the bull, and all right, gonna head back to the truck. Okay. So we're all talking and walking, and I just happened to reach back there, and boy, that pack feels a little lighter than it did. And like,
And
stick
you're
my,
still
and
not
I
sure
can,
what's going on
No,
yet.
and it's on my back, so I like stick my hand in the pouch, and I can feel it. It's completely unzipped, and I'm like, oh shit. And I'm probably about a half mile away from where I ran after that deer.
Yeah, I think Okayest
Oh,
moments
yeah.
could be totally interchangeable with oh shit moments.
This is oh
the
shit
moment you realize something.
Yeah. So, and then my wife calls and she's like, "Oh, where are you guys?" I'm like, "Well, we're back here." And it just so happens that I think I lost my keys and my wallet back in the swamp. Oh man. So me and my buddy Ryan's like, "Where do you think you lost it?" I said, "There's one place in particular. We're never going to know where it is." I said, "Oh, I know where it is. There's one little island of trees out there that I ran past, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be down this one path because there's a beaten path through that stuff." Sure enough, we get back. We start working our way back there. We get into the thick of it. We jump a doe. Ryan pulls his shotgun. I'm like, You don't think so? I'm like, no. We shoot that. We're gonna be looking for a wallet and a deer. So just let's not. All right. Walk along. There's the wallet. Okay, that's one thing. Walk a little further. Jump up another doe. Ryan looks at me. I'm like, we're not done yet. All right, let the doe go. There's the rounds. Another 10 steps. There's the keys. I'm like, all right, you can kill all the deer you want now. Didn't see a damn
Nothing.
thing. No.
Yeah, well, you blew your chance.
Yeah.
So if the wives are listening, Greg needs a necklace with a Velcro pouch for cell phones.
Yeah.
And I need some kind of organizer in my vehicle to remember all my crap. Christmas gifts, ladies.
Yeah.
Yeah, that phone dangler case I keep seeing getting advertised, that
Yeah.
actually looks pretty legit.
Yeah. It does.
So one more comment here, and we'll wind her down. Jake Menden, who I know, he said, I thought I was close enough to the house. Sorry, what was he saying? Close enough to the house. The buck wouldn't sneak behind me. Shocker, he came behind me. Didn't want to put an arrow into the neighbor's garage.
Yeah, it's
And then
probably
I think
a wise
his next
choice.
comment was, suburban hunting problems.
Mm-hmm.
Which, yeah, that's a totally different scenario. Oh, damn it. Okay, there's one more. All right, one more. All right. Tony Smith, okayest moment. We had a buck coming through on a cold morning, but when I tried to use my grunt call, it was froze up from being used earlier when I was going to pack up. Remembered I had tucked it in my jacket. to warm, grunted to make sure it still works. And what does it say here? Can I read the rest of it?
12-pointer.
Make sure it still works. And a 12-pointer came into 17 yards, and I killed him. Wait, so it worked? Wait, what's the... Did I miss something here?
That's amazing.
I thought this was an okay moment.
That's amazing.
It feels like... Well, when I was going to go pack up, remember to tuck in my jacket, grunted to make sure it still worked. Oh, and then it came... I got it. I'm a little slow.
A little slow.
You're testing it out, and then, holy shit, a deer actually came in. That's like a reverse Okayest moment.
Yeah, the luckiest.
That's,
That's like-
that's a lucky horseshoe up your ass moment.
Yeah, that was an Okayest moment turned into glorious moment, so you totally lucked into that one.
Some guys are like that though.
That's great. I'll
My
take that all
buddy's
day.
dad shot 4 bucks, pretty good ones, in 4 years. And in those 4 years, he only released 4 arrows from that bow. Never practiced, never shot. The only time he shot was into a buck 4 years in a row. And the last one he shot, he said he was getting cold on stand, so he practiced drawing to warm up, and he was checking his lanes, and the buck was standing there, and he just shot it.
Shut the F
I was
up.
like, that
Come
can't be
on.
real, Jim. He's
Oh
like, I
my
swear to
God.
God.
Oh my god. Okay, we can just end because this is what I mean. I wanted to talk deer tonight, and then here we are talking deer. It just took 20 minutes to get the stuff to work. I feel bad. The one night I didn't get the phone line up, everyone wants to call in. Go figure. Well,
Yeah,
people call in most
We have
nights
people,
anyway,
we
so
have people that wanted to call in.
we'll have a call in back on next week. Don't worry about it. I know we got every time we like put new investment into the show, inevitably something breaks because it's introducing new. It's like put a new goldfish in the tank, right? Now the fish are gonna go get all weird with each other.
The feeling out process.
Yeah, it's a bit. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the multicam. I've been switching them around here as we've been going and trying to make sure I'm showing you guys when you're talking. I forget myself, so that's okay. No one cares about this guy in a freaking weird gray sweatshirt, anyways.
The drip's dried up. Looks good.
Yeah,
you
don't
look
worry.
better.
Dan will mess it up later. Sure. That kid's notorious. They always wipe their face right on your shoulder. I don't know what it is. And I don't mind him doing it because I'm like, well, get
So
it
when
out,
it gets
buddy.
dry and crusty,
Yeah.
when it gets dry and crusty, you go rub your face.
Most of my
with it, you get a
shirts have
scratch.
I'm like, just do it at the end of the day when I'm done with work.
Yeah.
I usually got like a collared shirt on when I get home or something. So this is like the first thing I saw. I'm like, let's get comfortable.
Yeah, that's good.
This is my time. Yeah, it's different.
Today was flannel day at work, so
That's
worked out,
lucky.
worked out well.
That's super lucky. Yeah, Michael said he'll call in on the next show. That's good. That's cool. That's fun. And then, by the way, I'll just say it now, so I don't have to do it in post. But we'll be at, and by we, I don't know if Greg's going. I don't expect you to go, Derek, at all. But me and Tyler, for sure, and our families will be at the how's that trade show called? Damn it, the Open Season.
Open Season Sportsman's Expo.
That's what it's called. They changed the name on it, so I had to think for a second. The Open Season Sportsman's Show at the Kalahari Resort in Wisconsin Dells. It's the last week of March. So I believe it's the 25th through the 27th, and we are booth 200A. And Greg here, whether he's there or not, and maybe he's not there, and you guys can all give him, compliments or grief, because he is building the booth.
There's no pressure
Whoop,
whatsoever.
whoop.
Let's just put it on right now.
It's gonna look like a complete shit show, and I'll make sure of it.
Greg built this table. It looks pretty great.
Looks like a shit show to
It's
me.
supposed to, yeah. So that'll be cool. We'll be doing podcasting there. We'll be selling merch. We'll be drinking beers, and
Hell yeah.
I think it'll be fun. We got a new mobile podcast set up. By the way, the new mixer is right there in that little box on the desk over there. So
Just
a little bit
guy.
smaller than this. Same functionality. You can still play all the sounds and stuff. So we can still do let me get it right here. Is it this one?
Okayest Hunter.
Still do that. And she will be there, I think. So that's my brother-in-law's girlfriend. And I called my brother-in-law one night. I said, hey, I need you to do like a Yooper, Northern Wisconsin, Okayest Hunter. So he did. And I was like, that's pretty good. And then his girlfriend was with him. I was like, you know what? I think it should be a chick's voice. Does she want to give it a shot real quick? So she did it. And that's it. That is the first and only take she ever did.
Okayest Hunter.
And that's it.
That's
So
perfect.
she's probably going to be up there with him. And he, writes a lot of our blogs and stuff. And I was like, dude, she's got to be at the booth. And can she just say it every now and again? So
That's cool.
She's gonna be wore out.
her name's Lauren, and she's a nice lady.
She's a nice lady.
So, yeah, that's what we got going on. Pretty fun stuff.
Yeah.
Let's get this thing. I'll just. I think I got like a. Oh nope. We'll just play some music to end this thing. Thanks everybody for joining us tonight and dealing with our technical drama and
Yeah, thanks for the comments. and
lots of
questions.
comments. I don't even
Yes.
know how many we got, but thank you. Makes it fun.
Love those okayest moments.
Yep.
And we'll get this thing live tonight. Have a
Good.
good night, good week.
Good luck to anybody who's still grinding.
Yeah, never
Yeah.
pass. Certainly now, never pass.
Yeah.
I would be if I were not going to be having surgery. I would totally be grinding away at it yet.
Well, you haven't had surgery yet, so if you're
Probably
going to be
driving
doing
my
it,
wife crazy.
yeah, that's right. You do that anyways.
I know.
I always tell my wife if I'm not driving you crazy or annoying you that I'm not doing my job.
There you go.
Right.
Like this is what I'm here to do.
Sole
When-
purpose in life.
When my buddy Adam was over and he said he had 3 deer in the freezer, my wife said, "You need to get in one more buck." And I was like, "Everybody hear that?"
Just checking.
So I might sneak up north over Christmas break.
Cool.
Bring the family with.
Yes.
Watch the Packers.
A lot
on
of
Christmas
snow
Day.
up there. That'd be good.
No, watch for deer. Packers will do what the Packers do.
Aren't they doing good right now?
Yeah.
Someone just at work today said, anyone want Packer tickets for the 25th? I was like, oh man, I was like, wait, the 25th, that's Christmas.
That's not gonna
That
work.
like took me a second. I was like,
Nah,
oh, okay, yeah, let's
Not
do
so
that.
good.
So, all right, cool guys. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. This will be live tonight. Have a great night.
See ya.
See ya.
See ya.